All right, let's get some more on this whole debt standoff. Joining us, Democratic Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky of Illinois. She's deeply involved in this issue. All right, are you going to vote on this legislation that's called Cut, Cap, and Balance when it comes up tomorrow? Are you going to be in favor of it, or are you going to vote against it?
Well, this is a completely reckless and dangerous proposal. Of course, I'm going to vote no. The Republicans are trying to hold us all hostage and offering completely unacceptable choices, irrational choices, to say either we're going to let the whole full faith and credit of the United States go down, we're not going to pay our bills, with disastrous consequences, which they ought to know are real. This is not rumor or theory, it's arithmetic, that maybe the Social Security checks won't go out and the deficit will certainly be increased, or you pass this this plan that is certain to force cuts in Medicare and Social Security without touching a hair on the head of any billionaire.
What's wrong with a balanced budget amendment to the Constitution? Because clearly Democrats and Republicans, they have failed over these many years to balance the federal budget.
Well, first of all, that's just not true. It's only a little over 10 years ago that President Clinton handed George Bush not only a balanced budget, but a surplus in the budget. And he managed to squander that. So memories are very, very short. Democrats have never rejected sitting down at the table to deal with these hard issues and to be fiscally responsible. Having a balanced budget amendment, which, as they proposed, which limits spending, would force absolutely draconian cuts and never let us invest in the kinds of things that will dig us out of a recession, the kinds of investments we need to make in education and infrastructure. It puts our whole economy in further jeopardy.
A lot of polls over these many months, they say the American public, though, Congressman, would like to see a balanced budget amendment, which most of the governors have to deal with, a lot of the local governments have to deal with. An NBC Wall Street Journal poll that was out earlier in the year, do you favor or oppose a balanced budget amendment to the U.S. Constitution? 61% favor, 28% oppose, 2% depends, 9% unsure. It looks like you're in the minority on that question.
Well, actually, it depends how you phrase a question. If you say, should we have a balanced budget amendment that is going to force cuts in Social Security or Medicare or programs that help the middle class, I want to tell you that I feel that the big crisis that we face right now is not so much the long-term debt, which of course we have to deal with. I was on the President's Commission on Fiscal Responsibility. But we have a jobs crisis right now. We have a disappearance of the middle class crisis right now. And federal spending actually is a thing that can help dig us out right now. We need to make some investments in the economy and not devastate the middle class and our seniors with the cuts that they propose.
Are you with the President, Congresswoman, when he says, in terms of a big deal, he would be willing to cut Medicare, Social Security, the entitlement programs in certain ways that would be politically difficult for a Democrat? Are you with him on that?
I'm not in favor of those cuts, but what the President has said, that nothing is agreed to until everything is agreed to, and he has asked for revenues. And as I said, they will not cut one red cent from the wealthiest Americans who are paying the lowest tax rates in the last half century, but want to put the retirement and the well-being of our seniors and persons with disabilities and middle-class Americans on the line. And so, you know, they're not putting what they need to do on the table. This isn't a real discussion. This is about politics. It's very reckless. It is very dangerous, and it's totally irrational.
The President did say last week, as part of a big deal, he'd be open to a major change in Social Security, and Medicare, I should say, means testing. In other words, richer elderly people would have to pay more than poorer middle-class elderly. Are you with him on that?
I am not, but I think that what he has really said is that those kinds of conversations are on the table. I actually think that Medicare and Social Security need to be on a separate table all their own to talk about how we make sure we have long-term solvency without harming the benefits of older Americans who rely on these programs more than they ever did because private pensions are disappearing, health care costs are going up, and their savings are going down. So, no, that's not acceptable, I don't think, to me. But I proposed an alternative plan to the Simpson Bowles where we could achieve a balanced budget without harming the middle class, taking it out on the backs of people who have sacrificed. There's no equal sacrifice here. They are protecting the wealthiest Americans, the millionaires and the billionaires, and large corporations like GE that aren't even paying any taxes and getting rebates.
Congresswoman Schakowsky, thanks very much for coming in.